Hello everyone, this is 13th lecture on subject Income Tax 2 and in today's class we are going to solve one sum on exemption under section 54. This exemption is on the transfer of residential house. That means if an assessee earns capital gain from transferring a capital asset, that is residential house, he or she can claim exemption under section 54 if he fulfills the following conditions. And the conditions are: assessee has to transfer a long-term residential house. That means the assessee has to sell a long-term residential house, then only he or she can claim exemption under this section. Next is, only individual or Hindu undivided family can claim. That means partnership firm, association of person or company cannot claim exemption under this section. Next, assessee should not own any other residential house. That means at the time the assessee earns capital gain, he or she should not be having any other residential house than the house he or she is selling at that time. Next, acquisition of residential house. This is very important point. That is, when you are selling a residential house and you earn a capital gain, to claim exemption under section 54, you need to buy a new residential house or you need to construct a new residential house, then only you can claim exemption under section 54. And the last point is, amount of exemption is cost of new house including any amount that is deposited by the assessee under capital gain account scheme or the amount of capital gain whichever is lower. That means when we are claiming exemption under section 54, we should compare two amounts. One is the capital gain earned from transferring of the previous residential house plus the amount that you are investing in purchasing or constructing a new residential house. And after comparing these two amounts, the amount whichever is lower is exempted. I hope you have understood these rules. This is exemption under section 54 related to transfer of residential house, wherein an assessee has to sell a residential house and then he earns the capital gain. And to avail exemption under section 54, he has to construct or purchase a new residential house. Only then he can claim exemptions. Let us see one sum on capital gain. And the question is, Mr. Ajay of Belgaum gives you the following information regarding the residential house owned by him. Number 1. He sold the house on July 10, 2019 for rupees 20 lakhs. And the date of purchase of the house is 1st October 2004. Cost of acquisition of the house is 5,65,000. Cost of improvement is in December 2004 at rupees 22,600. Expenses incurred during the transfer is rupees 10,000. And he purchased a new residential house on 20th/12/2019. Just correct this date, it is 2019, at Hubli at a cost of rupees 25 lakhs. The cost inflation index for the previous year 2004-05 is 113, 2019-20 is 289, and you are required to compute the taxable capital gain for the assessment year 2021. Let us start solving this sum. Computation of capital gain of Mr. Ajay for the assessment year 2021. First, we have to take full value of consideration. You might have understood that this sum is based on long-term capital asset. That is, this asset is acquired in the year 2004 and is sold in the year 2019. In case of residential house, the cut-off holding period is 24 months and the assessee is holding this asset for more than 24 months. Therefore, it is a long-term capital asset, and whatever gain that arises out of it is long-term capital gain. So first of all, we take full value of consideration. Full value of consideration is rupees 20 lakhs. Next, full value of consideration is nothing but the amount at which the residential house is sold, and the residential house is sold at rupees 20 lakhs. It is full value of consideration. From this, we have to deduct selling expenses. We are given information, that is expenses on transfer is rupees 10,000. So we take expenses on transfer at rupees 10,000. The remaining balance is known as net consideration. And the net consideration is 19,90,000 rupees. We can take the same amount to the outer column, 19,90,000 rupees, from net consideration. We have to deduct indexed cost of acquisition as well as indexed cost of improvement, because information relating to acquisition and improvement is given in the sum. So less indexed cost of acquisition. How do we find indexed cost of acquisition? That is cost of acquisition into cost inflation index for the year of transfer divided by cost inflation index for the year of acquisition. Here the assessee has acquired this asset for rupees 5,65,000 and the cost inflation index for the year of transfer is 289 divided by cost inflation index for the year of purchase, that is 2004-5, is 113. Thus, we get indexed cost of acquisition at rupees 14,45,000. Next value to be deducted from net consideration is indexed cost of improvement. And how we calculate indexed cost of improvement? Cost of improvement into cost inflation index for the year of transfer divided by cost inflation index at the time of improvement. So the acquisition of the asset is done in the year 2004 and improvement also is done in the same year, that is year 2004. But the amount of improvement is 22,600. Therefore 22,600 into cost inflation index in the year 2019-20 is 289 divided by cost inflation index for the year 2004-5 is 113. And we get the amount, that is indexed cost of improvement at 57,800. Now we have to total it, that is both cost of indexed cost of acquisition as well as indexed cost of improvement. $14,45,000 plus 57,800, the total is 15,02,800. 15,02,800. Now 19,90,000 minus 15,02,800, the balance remaining is known as gross long-term capital gain, and the balance is 4,87,200. 4,87,200, which is known as gross long-term capital gain. From gross long-term capital gain, now deduct exemption under section 54. Less exemption under section 54. What is the exemption under section 54? It is cost of new house or long-term capital gain, whichever is less. Cost of new house or long-term capital gain whichever is less. Now the cost of new house, we are given information, that is 6th point. He purchased a new residential house on 20th/12/2019 at Hubli at a cost of rupees 25 lakhs. That means here we have to compare 25 lakhs or the capital gain that we have calculated is 4,87,000, whichever is less. Whichever is less. Therefore, we claim deduction under section 54 at 4,87,200. This is 200. come to the outer amount column and we claim deduction at 4,87,200. Now our final answer that is long term capital gain is nil, because our gross long term capital gain is rupees 4,87,200 and we have claimed full amount as exemption. Therefore there is no balance, therefore the long term capital gain is nil. I hope you have understood this sum. Let us just revise these points. That is, exemption under section 54 is related to the transfer of residential house, and the conditions are: the assessee has to transfer a long term residential house and only individual or HUF can claim this exemption, and assessee should not own any other residential house. Next is the acquisition of the new residential house. That means after you gain a capital gain from transferring a residential house, you need to acquire a new residential house. That means you need to purchase a new residential house. Just try to remember these years. You need to purchase a new residential house within 1 year before the sale of the previous residential house, or after 2 years of the sale of the previous house, or you have to construct a new residential house within 3 years from the transfer of the previous residential house. And then the amount of exemption is cost of new house including deposits under capital gain account scheme or amount of capital gain, whichever is lower. In coming classes, we are going to solve some more sums on exemptions under different sections. I hope you have understood this sum.